doing goal setting 2021. But what I'm going to be talking today is kind of a piggyback on what we were starting with last week. Last week we talked about vision boards. This week we're going to be talking about goal setting. So what is a goal? A goal is the object of your ambition or your effort. I'm sure some of you have heard about dreams, right? Some people say it's my dream to do this one day. It's my hope to do this one day. And there really is a difference between goals and dreams. So let me break down 3 things for you that really differentiate the two. Dreams are big. They're like the big picture, right? Our goals, they're small. They're small little things, right? Now, another difference between a dream and a goal is that a dream is something you should share. You share your dreams with your friends, your family, your loved ones, but your goals, you keep those guys private, right? So the difference between sharing and privacy. And the third thing for our dreams and goal differences is that dreams really deserve vision boards. Luckily, you folks were on that last week. Now, a goal is going to require more of a daily routine, all right? And that is what we're here for today. So since we know that a goal is a daily action, your job is to break that down to daily actions. Simple, right? I mean, I say it's simple, but if you've never done this before, then I'm so glad you tuned in because I'm going to help you break that down. Why daily action? Well, it helps us to build habits, right? Like brushing your teeth. You kind of like automatically do that. So basically, you can go for something like brushing your teeth all the way to watching how your money goes in and out of your wallet every single day. These are daily habits. The more things you make a daily routine, the more likely it is to happen. And that is why we're here today to help you through that. All right, moving on. Now, this system can be applied to anything. When we're talking about goals, it can be weight, it can be relationship, it can be business, it could be athletics, it could be your finances, which is actually the example I'm going to use today when I'm talking about how to break down a goal. I chose finances because, doesn't everyone at some point have to use money? Well, we might as well talk about it and get it out in the open and make a clear, scripted plan on how to keep more of it. First thing you need to do is set the goal. Today, let's say that your goal is to save $5,000 this year. So now we have the goal. And before we get into the actual daily routine things, this might sound hokey. Go with me. All right. I want you to really stop. Take the time to think about that goal that you've decided for yourself, right? In this example, I'm going to think about $5,000, right? That I want to have this year, that I want to save this year. What I want you to do with that goal is to take some quiet time, find a quiet space, and just stop and feel what it would feel like to have accomplished that goal, right? Get in your feelings, feel that emotions, right? Maybe that might mean, that it's going to give you feelings like you don't feel like you have insecurity anymore. Maybe you feel more confident. Maybe there's less fear. Maybe you're more bold about the way you're seeing yourself approach the world. So I really want you to take a moment and see if you can conjure up that feeling and see how it feels. All right. We're going to return to that feeling at the ending of this, but you got to open up with this feeling. And here's the reason why. If you can feel it, it really does help you to muster up whatever you're going to have to do in order to accomplish this goal. So getting that feeling in there, the good feelings, right? Or the bad feelings, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, you want to get that in there so that you can recognize it every single day as you're working on this daily routine. I'm going to use a technique called reverse engineering. I have no idea why I just air quoted that. It's just called reverse engineering. All right. So what that means is you're starting with the end in mind and you work backwards to try and figure out what your first step is and what your next steps will be in between now to when you actually reach that goal. So let's jump in. So the first thing we need to do is we need to think about a few details, right? So the goal is what? Save $5,000 in a year, right? But now we got to start asking ourselves, what is a year? Is a year from today? Today is January 17th. And so we're giving ourselves a year to January 17, 2022. Is that our year? Or are we thinking, no, we just want it to be to the ending of 2021, which is December 31st, which really, if you're looking at that now, because we're halfway through the month, only gives you about 11 full months to work this plan. Whatever you choose, you decide what it's going to be, right? But that's where you really want to start kind of thinking about the details. All right, once you've decided, let's just say that you decided to do to the ending of 2021. Well, that means that you only have 11 months remaining, okay? So now what you do is you take that 5,000 and you divide it by 11 months. Simple enough, right? Simple math. 5,000 divided by 11 comes out to right around $455 a month. Now you're going to take that $455 and divide that by weeks, all right? And what we're just trying to do is we're just trying to chop it down to the barest minimum. So we're going to keep on going down and down and down. 455 divided by 4 weeks on average is going to give you right around $114 a week. Now you got to sit and ask yourself, how can I create an extra $114 a week? This is where the creativity really starts to seep in. And again, I want you to give yourself the time to really kind of think this through. Because what it comes down to is there's 3 things that you can do in order to accomplish this goal, especially when we're just talking about finances, right? Staying within the wheelhouse of finances. You can, number 1, earn more. Number 2, you can spend less. Or number 3, you can do both of them, right? Up to you, right? I can tell you number 3 is the fastest moving one, but you figure out how your life works for that. So those are your 3 options. Now we have to decide which road are we going to go down. Now a pro Shan tip for me is this. Whatever you do, try and make it something that you enjoy doing, right? If you love your job, see if your boss is willing to give you extra hours, right? If you love saving money and just the hunt of getting something cheaper just excites you, well, then maybe couponing, maybe spending less, maybe working to see what an actual realistic budget for you and your family is going to be more up your alley. You got to kind of figure out which way it's going to be. Now, once you land on it, you need to break it down and see what you can do in each of those areas. So let's talk about those. Let's talk about first, earning more. What does earning more mean? I mean, it could be anything. It could literally be driving Uber, starting to deliver Instacart or DoorDash, which I love all of those services. Love, love, love. Another thing you can do is offer classes, maybe coach, maybe you're a dance teacher, maybe you teach piano, maybe you're a life coach, maybe you're a business coach. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do that you can charge for and earn money on. Another thing you could do is start a home-based business. But here's my little grain of salt with starting a home-based business, right? Many people do it, specifically stay-at-home moms. I know a lot of them do that. That's awesome. I was a stay-at-home mom doing my own business too. I get it. But when we're talking about this particular goal, which is to save $5,000 by the ending of the year, when you start a home-based business, you always have to know that there's going to be costs involved in that. So you have a little extra homework if that's the route that you decide to take, because what that means is now you have to figure, I'm going to pay money to get started on my business, whatever I need to invest to get it started, and then that's going to start generating an income, right? Is the difference between what I spent and what I'm generating going to be this $114 a week that I'm looking for, right? So again, we still have the same goal, but how we get there is going to be really important. And so a stay-at-home business or a home-based business can be great, but I've seen sometimes when they just are a complete loss for money and it totally deviates us from the goals too. So that's why you really have to find something that you love doing so that it actually gets done, right? You do the things that you love, and so choose something that you love doing. All right, so let's talk a little more about earning more, right? Let's say that you work hourly and you got your boss to say, yeah, you can have a few extra hours per week. You're like, yes, I love that, right? So now you need to break that down and see how many extra hours a week is it? If you make $23 an hour, that might be an extra 5 hours a week. That's only 1 hour per day if you work a 5-day week. Maybe that means coming in early. Maybe that means going home late just by 1 hour. That's actually not so bad. Some of us do that in overtime already, so it's not like much of a change. But you see what I'm starting to say? When you break it down, what seems like so far away, a $5,000 savings account now seems doable, because I can go to work an hour early, I could stay an hour late, and this is why breaking it down is so important. Another thing that's going to do is it's going to have you really evaluate what you're doing with the extra time. That might mean swiping out a few extracurriculars, right? Maybe it's watching less cable. Maybe it's participating less on social media, putting an alert on your phone that says like, hey, turn off Instagram, close out Facebook, get off a Clubhouse. We're going to be doing more things, right? Whatever it is that we're going to be doing, we need to put limits on ourselves. That might be what we're going to be required to do in order to make that daily routine happen, because we got to get that extra hour. We all get the same 24 hours, but we got to buy that extra hour with changes in our schedule, for example. Now let's talk about spending less, the other option. This can mean evaluating your current expenses and just cutting some of your cost. Eating out one less time per week, cutting unused subscriptions. I had so many Apple subscriptions that I wasn't even using. So once I cut them, I think I saved like $35 or something. I mean, it's a little, but what is $455 minus 35? That's $420. Now, if I take $420 and divide that by 4 weeks, that's $105 I have to make every single week rather than $114. So you see how you can keep just like drilling down at it. So you want to look at all these different things that you can do, because you might not need to try as hard. Now, in the end, life really is give and take. I'm sure you've heard that. And if you're going to be asking life for stuff, you got to know that on some level, you're going to have to give back, right? And so remember that as you're going into setting your goals. Now, our third option, like I said earlier, is to do both, right? Maybe get a little extra money, create a little course, do something that's going to earn money, and then also eat out one less time per week. Go to Starbucks one less time per week. Whichever one it is for you, doing both is really going to hasten the pace on you reaching that goal. So it's really important that you decide what you're willing to give up. Now, with that being said, now that you've seen all these things that you're going to have to do, right, to create these daily routines, because that's what a goal is, it's a daily routine. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to circle back around to that initial emotion feeling that you had earlier. Now you have to think, okay, I have it now. Now I know all it's going to require me to do is wake up one damn freaking hour earlier, right? Maybe an hour and a half earlier, go to work a little earlier, stay work a little later. That's actually not that much. And this is where the magic can happen. Because when you start telling yourselves, oh, I only need to do one extra hour in order to get that. What if I did two? What if I did too? Now the challenge starts to come in, because you start to see what you're capable of. You see, when you've broken it down to such small pieces, you start realizing what you're willing to give. That's why starting out with that goal is so important, and reverse engineering it is so important as well. Now that you've broken it down, I just want to ask you, is it doable? Is it doable? If so, game fucking on. Game on. You start following that tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's Monday, great day to get started. You start following those steps that you set for yourself and just start doing it every day. And the easy way to keep it going for a long time is that they are easy. An extra hour at work, right? Find whatever your goal is and make it so that it's easy and something that you enjoy doing. Now, if it isn't easy, if it doesn't really feel doable to you, this is the time to sit back and reevaluate. Is $5,000 too much? Maybe I should do $2,500, right? That would be, I'm a single person, right? So I only really need an extra couple grand. I already have $5,000 in my savings. I wanted another 5,000, right? You need to start evaluating where you want to be. Maybe dial it back a little. Maybe really reevaluate what's causing you to feel like it's not doable, right? That's another mindset video that I have for down the line. You'll probably see it in February, but this is a time to reevaluate and get it to the point where it is doable, so that you can, again, game on that shit and start doing it. In the end, guys, it's your life and it's up to you to live it as you see fit. Hit that thumbs up if you feel like this was helpful to you, and then fucking go implement it. Drop a comment below with whatever your goals are. Share with us so that I can hype you up or ask you questions. Or if you have questions on how to do things, drop it in the comments. I'll get back to you and I'll help you through it. I've set so many goals, helped thousands of people set and achieve goals over the years. One of my favorite things to do, which is why the ending of a year and the beginning of a new one is like one of my favorite little windows of time in the span of a whole year. Simply because it's just an exciting time, a time of newness. So excited to hear what you guys are going to drop in the comments. Make sure you folks subscribe if you feel like you're getting some good value. I know we're only 2 videos in, but there is more to come, and I got a surprise for you for the month of February. February is going to be a lot of work, but I think you're gonna like it. Now, as I share more on this channel to close out, you're going to start seeing a common thread. That common thread is to always check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and make sure that you are good. It's so important, folks. There's only one person that you're going to spend your whole life with, and that is you. So you better make sure you love yourself, love that person, and show your love by taking action on doing that for yourself. That's really what it comes down to. As a mom, I've many times before said that I was doing something for my children or for my husband or for my career, right? And you folks will definitely see the Shan spin on worldview in the months coming because I'm going to share a lot of it. But in the end, as much as I love my kids, I do things for them at a certain level, but in the end, it has to start with me. Otherwise, it won't get done. It won't get done to the level that I want it to be happy with myself. And in the end, that's the only person I need to be happy with is me. And that's what I want to help you folks to do, to be happy and content with the most authentic version of yourself so that you can simply be happy. You folks have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.